Okay, well, today we're joined by Abel from Angola. Nice to have you here, Abel. Could you maybe introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity once again.
Mhm.
My name is Abel. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Angola, and I was graduated from high school as a primary school teacher. And currently, I work as a civil servant of education, and I'm also an English teacher of Fox and the Purpose Academy, right here in Angola too.
Fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure to have you with with us here today, of course. Today, I was wanting us to have a discussion on the topic of productivity. Okay, I know it's something that a lot of people are interested in these days. In- Maybe as a general introduction, what do you think about that? What do you think are some strategies that you use to stay productive during the workday?
I use several different strategies in order
Mhm.
to stay productive during the workday. But let me just say you some. First things first, I start with a plan.
Mhm.
Every night I take time to organize all activities I'm going to do for the next day, and then I review them throughout the workday.
Mhm. Okay, excellent. And so, how do you prioritize tasks when you have multiple deadlines?
Okay, that's great. I
Mm,
prioritize urgent tasks rather than important tasks only.
mm,
Why?
mm,
Because we might have a lot of important tasks to do. However, there are also some urgent tasks that we have to do first things
mm,
first. In this case, I start from them. Now, imagine if I have a lot of urgent tasks to do with the same deadlines. What I do
mm,
first?
mm,
In this case, I normally select the tough tasks first.
I see. Could you maybe give us some examples from your day-to-day life? Maybe, what some of your tasks may be and how you would prioritize those tasks from your daily activities?
Okay, well, all of my activities are related to teaching because I
Mhm,
said I'm a teacher.
mhm,
I normally have to plan the lesson I'm going to teach in the morning, and I'm also going to plan the task I'm going to teach in afternoon. When it's morning, the classes are related to maths, are related to science, are related to Portuguese language because
mhm,
these are official language. Then
mhm,
I normally try to know which matters I'm going to teach today, which are the most importantly, and according to the schedule we have right here in Angola to teach someone, I use them and I choose caring about my students' needs.
mhm. Fantastic. And what role do you think technology plays in your productivity? Are there any tools
Okay, that's
perhaps that
great.
you find helpful?
Technology plays a crucial role in my
Mm,
productivity. Uh, Thanks to the advancement of information and of information and communication
mhm,
technology, currently there are a lot of audios, apps, ebooks, audiobooks. We have a lot of videos, social medias, and so forth that I normally choose wisely in order to get more information. I'm going to teach my students, and then I use them in an appropriate way.
And how do you maybe balance productivity with taking breaks, right? In order
Okay,
to avoid burnout?
I work 6 hours a day.
Mm,
Then not to get burnout, I normally do what? I work 4 hours in the morning,
mhm,
and actually I take a 2 hour break. And then after this, I return in service and I work 2 hours. So when you calculate them, you will notice that I work 6 hours a day, but they are not progressive. I normally work 4 hours in the morning and 2 hours in afternoon after some break.
Yes, yes, I understand. And do you think can perhaps multitasking enhance or hinder productivity, and why?
Multitasking can hinder productivity.
Hmm.
Why? Because our brains overwork rather than taking the time to waste. But then it can result in some consequences in the short or long term. For instance, because of multitasking, you can actually get stressed easily. You can
Mhm.
have a lack of memory. You can have lower of your task performance and so forth and furthermore.
Yes, yes, sure. And how do you think your work environment itself, how can that affect your productivity?
Uh, in reality, I can summarize it saying the following words.
Mhm.
The more distraction in environment you are in, the less concentration and memorization of the things you are going to teach your students you will have. You can easily forget things when you
Mhm.
are in an environment that is distracted for you. So we have to
Mhm.
choose. Uh, you have to choose a relaxed environment or even a relaxed surrounding so that you may focus on what you're going to do today.
Mhm. Yes. Could you maybe give us some examples of potential distractions that affect you?
I can actually. Normally when I'm in a classroom teaching my students, I forget to turn off my mobile phone and my mobile data phone. That's what I
Mhm.
mean. So suddenly I notice a lot of message dropping and the temptation of seeing each one of these message and replying, even though I'm
Mhm.
teaching, is higher. So
Mhm.
actually it's not easy. But the solution for this is turning off my mobile data and then focus on my students. However, when I have a break, I may actually use social media
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
other technologies.
Yeah, sure. Do you think that perhaps it's especially difficult for younger people to remain productive?
I'm sorry, because of internet connection, I couldn't
Yeah.
get you.
Oh,
Could you
okay. No,
repeat that, please?
sure, of course, no problem. The question was, do you think that it may be especially difficult for younger people to remain productive?
Of course, I noticed it. Young people have a lot of things to do, and they don't know how to differentiate it, which is priorities from important things, and with their desires,
Mhm.
and which are not theirs. So they normally join this stuff, and when it happens, they can focus on their priorities. They don't have a good productivity.
Mm. And how important do you think goal setting is when it comes to maintaining productivity? What about goals specifically?
When you have a goal setting, you don't get lost. You don't run anywhere every time. And differently from those workers who are normally so weary or so tired after a
Mhm.
hard working. However, when you try
Mhm.
to check out their activity that you will notice that they have done nothing productivity. So I still think that the point is doing things not even in a little time perfectly and not wasting a lot of not like using a lot of time just to do something that you may do in some minutes or something like that.
Mhm. Yes, yes, certainly. And how exactly do you measure your productivity? Are there any perhaps metrics that you use?
Okay, that's great. As I said, I'm a teacher. Then as a teacher, I measure my productivity by
Mhm.
means of my students' results. And I use two metrics in order to know how my students are. I normally use oral tests and also written tests. According to
Mhm.
the result of their tests, I'm going to know if I'm productive or not because I'm a teacher and my work is just teaching my students. And the goal is
Mhm.
to learn them, to help them learn in English or even national subjects in an appropriate way.
Mm. So these oral or written tests, what do they consist of? What might you include on those tests?
On this test, I normally include things they have already
Mhm.
learned from me. And even questions that are free, questions that the student must use his thoughts in order to know how to answer logical questions, open questions, but the answer has to do with his way of thinking. The more
Mhm.
the student is going to use his thoughts and answer the question, for instance, answer a solving problem, the better I feel my student is improving.
Fantastic. And then our final point that I wanted to discuss with you today was, so what techniques do you use to stay motivated and focused on long-term projects?
If there is a long-term project, I normally define and set reasonable goals and specific goals. And I try to achieve them every single day I work. Every time I try to assess my progress, and I try to know if I need or not to change some methodologies I'm using in order to achieve these long-term projects.
Very good. Excellent. Well, Abel, thank you so much for spending a bit of time to speak to us today. Much
Okay,
appreciated.
thank you so much too.
All right. Bye for now. See you later.